Live on Live.
I am delighted to announce I am being joined in the studio by RFI's Rosalind Hyams. And Rosalind, you are here to present us both to Léa Rinaldi, who is a filmmaker here in France. So Rosalind, do the introductions.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much, Léa, for being in the studio with us today. As David said, you're a French filmmaker. You're a French filmmaker whose latest documentary released in France this week. It's called Sillages in French, the wakes or wakes in English, the trails of water left behind in the sea by any boat. Now, your film is actually about a solitary and really daredevil challenge. Sailors crossing the Atlantic in the smallest category of boats that's only 6.5 metres long. It's your third film. It must have been quite a challenge to actually make this film in the first place. Where did the idea come from?
First of all, thanks to receive me here
You're
to talk
welcome.
about my movie Wakes. The idea come from since I was 8. I met Jan Lipinski during my childhood in the same school, and he left to live on a boat. So when he came back, we still keep friends, and he decided to do this solitary race. And I saw his footage about his pre-selection race, and I was very impressed about this material, more than the race. For me, they are overall filmmakers and racer. Mm-hmm. So it was the beginning of the story. But I didn't expect that it will become the best one. And I didn't care about competition. I was the adventure was my the subject I wanted to talk about, but at the end I got a good intuition to follow good character. There's a lot of things to talk about and to do.
I actually was going to ask you why you chose to follow Jan Lipinski. Well, you've answered that. This is an old school friend of yours. Now, this race, this adventure, takes place over 4,000 nautical miles. It starts in France, then it goes to the Canary Islands, and then finally the final destination is the Caribbean. Now, in the film, you turn Jan into a character, in fact, and he comes across as a character. It's quite amazing. And you've also chosen in the film to weave in some black and white footage of when he was a teenager or young man, and he took part on an archaeological dig. And we see that he's already very, very interested in physics. He's very, very interested in geographical coordinates, things like that. Where did this material come from? And why did you make this choice? It has an effect on the rhythm and the flow of the film.
Yes, this footage come from the father of Jan, who shot this when he was on this sailing school. So I decided to use this material because he gave me it in Martinique at the arrival, because it was the same place where he shoots this footage, this image, and because it was about the story of a dream, a child dream. It was like at the end, if I use this footage, it's because at the end we can realize that he realized his dream, his goal. So
it's quite a contrast when we see him in this black and white film where he's very clean cut and relaxed and calm, and then the images that we see in your film Sillages, Wakes, where he's unkempt most of the time, he's exhausted, sometimes cheerful, sometimes really suffering, we feel, whether from loneliness or other things. It's such a contrast.
Of course, but when he was a child, he didn't have yet crossed the Atlantic. But it's exactly what I love in this footage, because Jan filmed himself, like the other sailors. They film themselves. They offer to us their emotion, very personal emotion. They are alone on the boat, and the only company is this camera. So this material is very precious because it's very sincere. And it's this psychological aspect, emotional aspect that interests me more than the competition or the.
On that note,
Yeah.
did these competitors, the contestants in this transatlantic 6.5 meter race, did they tell you afterwards that making these kind of selfie films actually helped relieve some of the sense of loneliness from time to time? Because they can't even take mobile phones with them on the boat. They are really solitary, solo voyages with only the maritime weather for company and occasional radio contacts between each other, but that's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So did they tell you that it made a difference to the competition for them?
To have this camera with them? No, I think that they all bring cameras because I think it's hard to tell your story. Even it's hard to tell with the camera what you live in this kind of experience. So it's kind to have some document, you know. So now everybody film with a cell phone, or why not the GoPro? But you know, they use camera first of all to see if, for example, behind under the boat there is some seaweed. So, and it's a recurrent image on my movie, a little bit psychedelic, and I love this. And they use the camera for that first.
I was going to say, one of the characters as well in your film is the water, is the oceans.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's the main character, perhaps.
How did you manage to choose which shots to keep and which to leave out? What kind of atmosphere were you trying to create?
First of all, I was very impressed by what they shot, what they wanted to keep. So it was interesting. I didn't expect I want this or I want that. I was like impressed, but the difference between each character. Some characters just shoot the sea and they don't talk. Some characters don't shoot the sea and they just talk when it's very important. Every character have a different relation with the camera. And with that, during 1 year, I did this documentary to try to connect the story of this sailing race. But it was, I love to collect things and after to write on the editing. So for me, it was a wonderful material they gave me. And you know, they didn't, the sailors didn't want to see my movie before I screen it. So they trust me and they gave me all the material without knowing what I'm going to do, who I am. So it was the most beautiful gift they can offer to me.
It was quite amazing. You have men, women, they're all French except one,
Yes.
if I'm correct.
Yes.
Who's Irish?
Irish. No, I think it's English. Or
An English speaker.
Tom
in
Dolan.
any case,
Sorry, I don't remember.
Well, Dolan's
but they all speak French, and there is Marta, she's Spanish, but it's an international race. But because the direction of the race is French, they all speak French.
Okay. Now, we see very much their emotions, we were saying, particularly with Jan Lipinski, where he looks all clean and neat and tidy, a good student in the black and white footage, and this windswept, half crazy person almost during the adventure. Why was it that you decided to focus on him? You, as you said, you didn't know he was going to be the winner. You said that he was a family friend. But when you were going through all the material, were you ever tempted to perhaps focus more on one of the other characters, perhaps take the film in a different direction, collect more information about them?
Yeah, I mean, this solitary race is very solidary. So it's kind of a big family, and I love it's a community, punk community for me, and it's very interesting because usually in sailing race it's like a lot of money, a lot of competition, and you don't have this ambience. So what I like first, it was this family ambience, and he told me that at the beginning. He told me two things, and he said, okay, I agree, you do this documentary with me, I will give you my footage, but just, I know that you don't like competition and you want to make a movie about adventure, but just know that I want to win. And I say, okay, and he win. And the second thing is, say, I'm sure you will find another character because it's a solitary race, but it's also solitary. So, and I say, okay, but I don't know, but I didn't know any other sailors, but I stay a lot on the marina, and I met all the other characters.
So as you say, it's like a big family. It's a very, very united group and all that. I wanted to ask you about the music in your film. Also, music that they obviously didn't hear as they were sailing. They perhaps are able to listen to music that they take with them. But you have also in your previous films, you've made films about Jim Jarmusch, the film director, who's very interested in music. You've also made a film about a Cuban rap music group. You play with music a lot in this film, but you go for a relatively classical sort of mood-matching scene association music. You use Jacques Brel's Amsterdam, for example, although we don't go anywhere near Amsterdam. There may be Dutch contestants in the race, I don't know. Can you tell us about your music and how you chose the music for the film?
First of all, I love the music they were listen, like intragetic music. I don't know if in English we say that, because I wanted to be on their ambience, to personify the story. So, and after Jacques Brel, for me, I love Jacques Brel. Alors, it's very cliché, but I mean, when I was on the step, escale, how you say escale, step on between the race, they all drunk, they all want to leave their mind, go away. And I think this song was very relevant. So, because they used to listen to this music during the party. So, and after the music of Jim Jarmusch, for me it was very important to have like a music ambience, not who drive softly the traveling on sea. And this music, psychedelic music with this group Skull, was very perfect for this movie. And they offer the music for me. So thank you.
This year, 2019, this race takes place every 2 years. And it's taking place again. It's starting again on September the 22nd this year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Are you going to be there?
I think I'm going to be there because I'm going to screen my movie before. And I love the departure now.
So how will you be involved in it this time? Will you be filming again? Will you be asking them to film?
Just on the marina and say goodbye. Let us dream again.
Jan Lipinski will be one of the contestants again, defending his title.
In a different race.
He's not in the 6.5 metre anymore.
No. He win everything. So now I have to change. I think he would love to continue all his life, this kind of boat, but he have to move.
The level of dedication is almost as powerful as the waves in your film.
Yeah.
It's incredible, the determination of these people.
Yeah.
And at one point, somebody talks about it being an addiction.
Yes. They're addicts. Yes, they're like drug addicts. And I couldn't write the script of this movie, but I'm so happy that at the end, what it tells to us, that when you really want something, you can get it. If you are like patient and if you are strong, if you have a dream, even you capsize, if you keep dreaming, you can get what you want.
Well, we hope that the film will get you what you want, Léa Rinaldi. Thank you very much for coming here today to talk to us about Sillages, Wakes, a film that's going to be shown in the UK and around the world.
Monday 17 in London, and you can check on offshorefilmfestival.com, and you have all the screening in UK.
Quite an adventure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.